Prawn here with some tips and tricks for PVE mode in Tarkov. Now you know you can grab bits off people's guns, and this is a good way to get extra things for your guns, drag it on immediately or take it out and sell it. But did you know that if you've got lots of guns, you can put it into your bag, right click on it and then click disassemble, or go to the inspect tag and disassemble it. And in there you'll then get all the parts in your bag immediately, or put in their pockets randomly, so check for that. But that's a good way of getting all the bits off without having to take them out individually, which can be really useful. Another thing I'd recommend is going to factory to up your number of grenades. So you'll find if you go to factory and kill the PMCs there, they generally have 2 grenades on them each, and you can then take those grenades and stock up. So you see all the nades that I've got here in my pockets and in my rig. I didn't actually take those into factory. I got them off the PMCs in there, so that's one good way to stock up on extra grenades that you can then use for the grenadier task, which can be handy. In a recent patch, Battlestate made it possible to mount your guns on things, so you can go up to surfaces and press V, and that will automatically mount your gun onto a nearby structure. Now this is even without any bipod on the gun, so you can see this modded M4 doesn't have a bipod, and yet I can stick it on top of this section here and then support the gun. Now this is handy obviously because it will reduce the sway, and if you've got low stamina or you've just got a gun that swings about around a lot, you can actually stabilize it and make it easier to shoot with on this surface. It's awkward, but it does work. Another thing that's pretty useful is if you've forgotten to bring splints in or haven't got any left, but you do happen to have a Survive 12, that Survive 12 will fix fractures as well as blacked out limbs. This is very handy. And with a single use, you can do both the blacked out limb and the fracture at the same time. So you can see me fixing the arm that's blacked out and fractured here with one use of a Survive 12, which then makes healing a little bit easier. So Survive 12 is better to have in your stash than the CMS. And by the way, a Grizzly will also do the same in terms of fixing fractures. Another tip for making profit, this time, if you go over to Jaeger and buy a can of fuel from him, and you can do this regularly every time it refreshes, you can then filter by this item, head over to the flea market, and find what the current price is for a full can of fuel and where it's selling. And what you'll often find, for some reason, is that it's around 240,000 rubles. So that's nearly 100,000 more rubles than what you paid for it. So you can go ahead and list your full fuel can on there. Obviously, you're paying a listing fee, but it's still a profit. I find that repeating this every time I've been into a raid, coming back out, buying a fuel can and then selling it again, means that you're making a regular amount of money, basically churning that in really easily. Now, this might change in the future, and obviously with the fluctuation of the flea market, it might not work all the time, but at the moment it's working loads, and you can basically make 100 grand really easily without having to mess around. Obviously you'll need it for your hideout as well, but this can be a good way to make some extra money. And you'll see that obviously you can then wait for that money and it comes in, and then you've got some extra profit, which is nice. Recent patches also changed the way scopes work. So some scopes can now be zoomed in really easily. So previously it was Alt and right click to go between 2 zoom levels, but now you can Alt and roll your mouse wheel and it'll zoom in and out. And some of them have got some really smooth zooming action that makes it much easier to just get the right range and distance when shooting, and then easily pick off enemies using that. So it's a very nice setup there. Going to woods is one of my favourite things to do for loose ammo. There are various places that you will find some really good ammo. It's worth looking around near the APCs that are knocking around in the game. You'll find them on the floor. You go over to the USEC camp and you'll find loads of ammo there. You will just find loads of really high quality ammo there. If you're not sure, you can pick up the boxes, open them into your bag, and then you can use the inspect tool to check and see what the quality of those bullets are. You'll see I've got a number of different ones in here. Some of them are a bit rubbish, obviously you could just throw those away, but you'll see other ones that have very high penetration. Now obviously this can't be bought off the flea market, and you'd have to use high level traders to get them, so just finding them loose on woods can be a really good way to just get some really good ammo that'll be helpful for killing PMCs. If you've done a quest that requires you to pick up items from a certain map like customs and then take them to another map, like factory for example, you then can transfer them to a special section in your tasks inventory rather than keeping them on your body and risking losing them. If you go back into a map accidentally with these items before you go and try and do the next bit of the quest and then you die, you lose that quest item and you have to go get it again. So storing it in this special slot can work wonders. Just transfer it there and then take it out again when you actually need it, when you're ready to go into the quest. Right.
Oh,
now look at the fridge.
Little fridge.
Yeah, but did you know you can breach it?
I always forget about
You
that.
can breach the fridge.
Yeah, so you can open it, sure. That's boring. But you can breach it. If you scroll, there's an option to breach it. And you just kick at it.
But it doesn't open.
Go on, try. You do it.
Why?
You missed. You kicked the wall.
Yeah.